when you guys got done holding the line and you had defeated that onslaught from the North Koreans, what was the next phase?
Move out and move north. And the first weeks, we moved 4 or 5 miles at the most. The next couple of weeks, we moved hundreds of miles. And I remember going as fast as we could north to marry up with the guys who invaded at Incheon. And we just kept going. I mean, I don't remember how many opportunities we had to really get into combat after we cleared the Pusan perimeter until after we got north of Seoul. I mean, the invasion force invaded, pretty well cleared that stuff away, and so the city of Seoul was open when we went right through it, and we kept going north. The enemy was retreating pretty fast, and we were just going as fast as we could, driving up the roads. And in fact, our unit got almost to the Yellow River, which is about the time they decided to take the stuff out of my butt. So I was sent back to the hospital ship in the harbor of Kim.
So that's when you got shrapnel, was when you were up by the Yalu River?
No, that's...
Oh, that had already, that's right, that had happened earlier, and now it was coming back.
The stuff was worked. Now, one of the things you've got to remember is this piece of metal is in my butt. Now, in a tank, the tank commander has a little thing to sit his butt on while he's riding around in the turret. Well, you don't do that when you have a piece of metal working its way out. It is painful, to say the least. And so I couldn't hardly wait for that to happen, but they wouldn't let me go back to the hospital until it got reasonably close to the surface. So when it got close to the surface, they evacuated me. And it was in November of 1950 that they sent me back to the hospital ship.
And then I think you covered this, but then you got done, the metal comes out, and then you go back again because you're thinking you're gonna get home by Christmas if you can get back to your unit.
And I got back to the unit eventually, but I didn't get home by Christmas. In fact, by the time I got back to the unit, the 2nd Division had already moved back south, almost to the Han River, and so I found the unit again somewhere south of, somewhat north of the Han River, but still, we were still in North Korea, but it was the south part of North Korea.
Mm-hmm. And were you in a situation? Did you guys get dug in? Because I know part of the Korean War was like they dug in, and it was almost like trench warfare. Did you enter that phase, or were you still moving north and south?
We, as tanks, we never dug in. Now, later on, I think the line stabilized pretty much around the 38th parallel, and there was a lot of digging in. Defensive positions as well, but that was more infantry, not the tanks.
So how did you end up? What was the last phase of you being over there like, and what ended up bringing you back to the States?
Well, the line sort of stabilized around the 38th parallel. We would go forward, and then we'd come back. We would go forward, come back. Oftentimes, the we would do patrolling, I guess is the right word. Patrolling in force. A tank company with an infantry company attached, riding on the tanks, would blast forward to some enemy position, get into a firefight, take the ground, and then we'd move back again. We were just going back and forth around that so-called, it now turned out to be the 38th parallel, but it was generally that sector. Oftentimes, the infantry would get into a lot more heavy firefights than the tanks would. I spent a lot of time supporting infantry attacks with my tank guns and machine guns, covering their advancements forward, but dug in, no, we never, the tanks were never dug in.